there, everyone. Lisa here. I'm an intuitive, and I am here to give us our daily tarot reading. So excited. I used my favorite deck of all today, shuffled them up a couple of minutes ago, and 4 popped right out, and I'm jazzed to see what Spirit speaks to us. Okay, first one, emotional discontent and boredom. What this speaks to me is this. There are so many of us in the collective who feel down deep in the depths of our hearts that there is more to life than what we are experiencing. There's a dissatisfaction. There's an ache for the adventure. We're like, where is the, I can't wait to get up in the morning. This life is so freaking amazing. There is a feeling down into our hearts that we know that we were created to shine, that we were created to experience the depths, the widths, the heights, and the lengths of experiences and adventures, and that life is meant to be, the marrow sucked out of the bone, and that it was meant to be satisfying and fulfilling. And there's a part of us knowing this, kind of getting that, but then kind of going like, but what do I do with that? We're filling ourselves up with too much food or too much drink, not enough exercise, or relationships that are really not good for us, or watching TV or scrolling on the Facebook too much. But we're doing this to fill in for something else. If that speaks to you, let's continue on then. Next card I got was the mental card. This one's about suffering in silence. And listen, I want to tell you something. I believe that there are some really deep spiritual lessons that are learned in the experience of suffering. I'm not saying that we shouldn't suffer. There are specific people called for this suffering. And there are things that we learn in the suffering. And some people, they need to hit rock bottom in that suffering place before they finally will say, I want out. But what I'm telling you is I don't think it needs to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. If you change your thought pattern, this is a mental card, if you change your thought pattern to say, I don't need to have this be hard to experience soul growth. I don't need to suffer to experience spiritual growth. That's not my path. It doesn't need to be that way. To have a willingness to suffer if that's what's necessary, but to say it's not necessary for me to suffer unless it's necessary. I don't know if I'm making sense, because I myself really relate to people who've suffered a lot, and I admire people who've suffered a lot through things. But I also know that what God's been speaking to me in this last year, I would say, of working with people who've experienced childhood trauma, is that the things that hurt on the way in do not have to hurt on the way out. It's like there's a time to suffer, and like Ecclesiastes would say, there's a time to not have to suffer then. And I think that I'm wondering if maybe the time for the collective to have to be suffering is ebbing to a close. I don't know. Maybe. The next card I picked up was a major arcana, which means like an overlying, undergirding vibration that's powerful for the lifetime, and not just the mundane things that go on daily, but the whole entire life. This one's the patience card. What I believe this is speaking is this, is that we are coming to wake up to know the reason we are dissatisfied, we don't feel completely fulfilled, and we are mentally going, what's with the suffering, and just, is because we are waking up to remembering that there is more, that we are God's spark, that we are little bits of love strewn all over the place as one, each having a different experience. And that in a place of patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, a holy self-control, in a place of compassion, generosity, in a place of forgiveness, mercy, and grace, we can come into a place of remembering our God spark, that we can be patient with each other, not only ourselves, but each other, as we wake up to remembering our holiness and the light that we shine, the light that we are. And boy, wouldn't that be a trip Wouldn't that be emotionally fulfilling? Wouldn't that then be the end of needing to suffer when we wake up and remember who we are? Yes, there was a time when forgetting who we are was what we wanted to experience as spiritual beings. But I'm wondering if we're coming out of that and coming into a place of saying, now I want to remember who I am. I forgot for a while, but now I want to remember. And coming into a place of patience with each other and ourselves as we do that. The last card I got is the partnerships and alliances in the spirit realm. And this speaks to me of a couple different things. The 3 always speaks to me of Mother God, Father God, Child, Christ consciousness. Those 3 wrapped together, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and when they get together and they give birth to the Christ consciousness, that we're coming into a place of balancing that within ourselves in the collective. It also speaks to me of us each remembering that we are not here by ourselves. We have a tribe that's in the real, that are our spiritual soul tribe, that exist at the vibration that we do on our spiritual journey, our spiritual growth journey, our soul growth journey. But we also have a tribe that exists in the spiritual realm, what I call the invisible real, that exists in a vibration that we're waking up to, remembering. We may not be able to see it with our natural eyes, like I can see this table, but there are so many of us who are waking up to being able to feel strongly, sense strongly the angels and guardians that are around us in a different frequency. It's like we are each radio receivers. And so many of us are waking up to remembering there's more than just this station. There's this station, that station. And all you need to do is tune it just a little bit differently, and you'll be able to hear it. That's what I think is happening also. Such an encouragement for us. So I thank Spirit for this message. And thank you, Spirit. Spirit never disappoints. Oh gosh, I do readings for people and sometimes I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm so nervous, and Spirit never disappoints. And Spirit has to remind me over and over again, it really isn't you, Lise, it's me coming through you and using you. So, get off your high horse, which I do. All right, listen, if this resonated with you and you're saying, so what next now, Lise? Here's a couple things you can do. Become aware of your breath, as simple as breathing in and out. And as you breathe in and as you breathe out, see if you can feel your toes. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, see if you can feel your knees. Become aware of your elbows, your shoulders. Become aware of your chest expanding and your belly expanding and going back in again as you breathe. The other thing I would have you do would be to imagine something that you love so much with an unconditional love that you didn't even think was possible. Like for me, it would be like holding each of my brand new babies. I have 5 children, and when I think of love, I just think, oh my God, the love that I feel for these 5 babies that have now grown into 5 adults that are all now taller and bigger than me, and I could not love them more if I possibly tried. I love them to the bigness of all the love that I have. I want you to imagine that, and I want you to pull it in as a vibration. See if you can feel that and send it back into yourself and feel it into yourself. Take all that love and hold it inside for yourself. And then the last thing I would do is I would recommend taking an Epsom salt bath. And as you get in, just say, I allow any and all vibrations, any and all thought patterns, any all ways of thinking and believing in all relationships that no longer serve me, all memories that no longer serve me, any energies that I hold on to that no longer serve me, to dissolve while I'm taking my Epsom salt bath. And I thank God, I thank Spirit, I thank Source of Love. I thank you, that divine intelligence. I thank you that I am waking up to remembering who I am and allowing more love to come into me and to wake up within me. And if I can be of assistance, I am a spiritual life guide, and intuitive and astrologer, and I would be more than happy to help you on your journey. I have in-office hours as well as working virtually and remotely with people. So what will you do with this one wild and precious life? I hope it is singing from the rooftops, man. I hope it is being curious, being compassionate, and then being courageous. I'll see you again here tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, if you would like the video, if you would comment so that we can have a conversation, I'd love to know if this content is working for you, if it's speaking to you, and what part of it is speaking to you. And then lastly, if you would subscribe and share, it would tremendously help me. I pour a lot of free content out there, mostly because I want to be a facilitator of love and the waking up of love and our true identity as loved and lovely, lovable lovers. Peace out. Love you guys.